coming after me. Y'all favorite came after me. My fans up and them bands up, bring my fam up. The mentality, these niggas be faking. The mentality, these niggas be hating. The mentality.
Yo, what is going on, y'all? It's your boy VeLL back with another Mobile Legends video, and I've been seeing your comments, man. I've been seeing you all ask me to explain different comps and stuff like that, because everyone always says, yo VeLL, all you do is talk about how pros only use the dive comp, they only do the same thing over and over. So you all have actually been wondering what are some different comps. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video, and I'm going to be explaining dive comps and just comps in general, and how they work and how they come to be, and why the Mobile Legends community is a bit farther behind other communities when it comes to actually competing in the competitive level. So hopefully you all can understand the perspective I have, as opposed to you all just seeming to think that I enjoy bashing top players, which is not the case whatsoever. Part of what makes a MOBA enjoyable to watch is the different comps and the different strategies. It's the, like, okay, you use the dive comp. A lot of you all have been asking me how to counter the dive comp as well. So that this is an example. One team will use the dive comp, they'll be really strong with that comp, then another team will come out of nowhere with a completely different comp, and they'll use that comp to shut down the dive comp. Like, that's part of being competitive. In Mobile Legends, one team used the dive comp, the other team used the dive comp, then whoever does better, like early game, whoever does better and can just catch somebody off guard first, they're more than likely going to snowball. And that's just the extent of the Mobile Legends competitive scene right now. But what it's supposed to be is this team uses a dive comp. This team thinks of a different strategy. They use this composition that they came up with to take on that composition. And that's what makes a MOBA enjoyable to watch. Like, Mobile Legends is super basic in comparison to the other games. And you're going to see that after this video. So the first comp we're going to be going over is the Kite comp. And this is going to have the most late game potential, man. This is going to be the most powerful comp late game. And that's one of the biggest things in Mobile Legends. You have to be able to survive until late game, which means to have a Kite comp, you're going to have to choose heroes that supports staying alive till late game. And also you're going to have to be able to protect your towers and stuff like that. It's a lot of different skills you have to make this comp work. And that's one of the differences between the dive comp and the Kite comp, is that the dive comp, basically all you have to do is just roam around and dive people. It doesn't take a skill, you being able to defend a tower and stuff like that. Like, basically a dive comp is just running around diving people with speed, and that's one of the easiest things to do. And that's one of the easiest strategies in the world, which is why it's so popular in Mobile Legends. But when it comes down to a Kite comp, which is basically one of the most popular comps, even though people don't know that, like, people didn't know the name of it and stuff like that, it's really just playing through the ADC. The ADC goes bot lane, he gets fed, gets super strong and stuff like that, and you all kite. In every single engagement, you want to draw out the team fights. Like, you want the team fights to last long, so you want to, like, maybe pop the other team 2 times, like, get in there, pop, bag up, kite, you kite them, pop them again, kite, get out of there. Like, you basically want to draw the team fights out, because what you will notice in Mobile Legends right now is the team fights are pretty fast, and that's because it's dive comp oriented. You want, like, when you're using a Kite comp, you really want to slow it down, because late game is where you're going to be the strongest. So if you draw out these team fights, where a team fight can take a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, if you can draw it out that long, which with Mobile Legends powerful heroes, that's one of the things that makes certain comps a little bit more difficult, because Mobile Legends has super overpowered heroes. So you have to really have skills to be able to draw out, like, the Kite comp is supposed to be one of the like basic comps, one of the easiest comps, but you have to really have skill to be able to even pull this comp off in Mobile Legends. Like, a lot of the marksman players themselves can't avoid getting dove. So like, being that good of a marksman player is pretty rare in Mobile Legends. But yeah, you have to be able to draw out the team fights. If you can make a team fight last 2 minutes, let's do the math. Like you get in 5 team fights throughout that game and draw them all out. Like, that's 10 minutes right there. You draw them all out 2 minutes. Like that's probably not going to happen, but you draw them all out 2 minutes. That's 10 minutes right there. You've wasted 10 minutes drawing out these fights, making them last longer, which gives you the advantage, because you're 10 minutes into the game after these 5 fights. Obviously you're gonna have the advantage if you're using a Kite comp, because now it's a little bit later on in the game, And yeah, that's one of the, so that's a different strategy to use and try to draw out these fights and stuff like that. That's a different comp. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's hard to stop once the ADC gets fit and gets stronger. It's one of the hardest comps to stop, period. Like, imagine a team moving and attacking in a fight and stuff like that. And currently, when you see people fight, you basically see people just standing there and just going at each other the whole time. As a team with a Kite comp, it is possible to get in, poke people, and bag up and force them to try to keep coming after you, and you all be basically controlling the situation. Even though it looks like you all are retreating as a team, you all are in complete control. So that's a Kite comp. That's a Kite comp. That's some of the ways that you can play a Kite comp. Like, it's different ways to play it, but it's really simple as that. If you all know what kiting is, you do it as a team. It's really that simple. Obviously the dive comp, you know what the dive comp is. That's when you use a hero, you use a group of heroes that allows for speed and diving people, and you can catch people off guard with a lot of ganks and stuff like that. One of the best heroes for a dive comp is Raphaela, because she can speed up the entire team, and with that speed you can initiate something very, very fast, unexpectedly. Like, the whole team can just jump on somebody without them even being able to move, because with Raphaela you can move a little bit faster than you would be able to just going around with a regular hero. So Raphaela makes diving insane. Then you could yeah, that's pretty much a dive comp. Everyone knows what a dive comp is. I'm not going to spend too long talking about a dive comp. That's all we see in Mobile Legends. You want to see a dive comp, look at a pro gameplay. Moving on, we have the poke comp. So a poke comp is basically built, like, this is how it sounds. It's built around poking heroes, and this comp you'll probably see Farsa, you'll probably see Zask maybe. Comps where you can keep your distance but still poke and do a lot of poke damage. So you're going to be playing around the fact that you're trying to keep people back up off you and stuff like that. And that's, like I said, that's the skill. Like, this is very, very hard to do in Mobile Legends, because we have some crazy assassins that can just come out of nowhere like smoke and stuff like that. But to be honest, every MOBA has heroes like that. Every MOBAs have heroes where the assassins can dive in and stuff like that. So when it comes down to doing a poke comp, you have to basically pick the heroes and decide which heroes are the best heroes to use. The thing about creating a team comp or using a different comp is that it takes thinking power. It takes you to really sit down for hours and hours and hours and be like, okay, we want to do this poke comp. Should we use Tigreal? Why would we use Tigreal if this other tank is the strongest tank in the game? So you have to really decide. Just because the thing is, just because one hero is the strongest hero in the game, it doesn't mean that's the best hero for your team comp. And that's the thing that you have to realize. Like, it takes a really, really deep level of thinking to really understand that every hero, like Mobile Legends, in Mobile Legends, you usually just see people going for the most powerful heroes and diving. But when it comes down to actually selecting a super strong comp, it's not about how strong a hero is in general. It's about how strong a hero can be for what you're trying to accomplish with your team comp. So that's basically the logic you have to have when trying to select a poke comp. I don't see poke comps that often. It's probably not even that powerful of a comp, and especially in Mobile Legends, you don't have you have some crazy poking heroes, but then again, not really. I guess Selena, they're all mages, they're all squishies. I don't know if you really have like supporting heroes like tanks and stuff that would really support like a poke comp. So that's another comp. Like, obviously, I have put zero time into actually trying to figure out what heroes would make these comps super powerful, but that's what's involved in being a pro. That's what's involved in creating comps and really competing and stuff like that. This is the stuff that you do. You have to sit down and have these conversations, because these are the ways you win tournaments. You come up with a comp and a strategy that no one has ever thought of in Mobile Legends, and you're going to go out smacking people if you perfect it. So then let's go on to the split push comp. Obviously, you know what the split push is. You can build entire comps based around split pushing. Obviously, you'd probably see a hero like Zilong in this comp. He's one of the best at taking down towers and taking down towers fast. So the split push is very strong. And with a split push comp, it's common that people do the 4-1. So that means 4 people go in one lane to draw all the attention and traffic over there, while one person goes to a completely different lane and just tries to push that lane up as far as possible. Then there's the 1-3-1 as far as laning. So one person goes in the top lane, 3 people go in the mid lane, and 1 person goes in the bottom lane. So you have 2 people split pushing the 2 sides, and the middle is drawing all the attention. So you need to have 3 people in the middle that's super strong and put a lot of pressure on the middle, so you can force more than. Basically, the goal with the 1-3-1 laning is to force at least 4 people to have to come and stop your 3 people. If you can force 4 people to come over there, that means one of your side lanes is going to have an open opportunity to just keep taking those towers. So that's a split push comp, when you actually have a group of heroes that forces people to come mid lane, so you can be free to push the sides. Like, these is whole compositions that you can that you build strategies around. You find the right heroes and use these different strategies with those heroes. There could be some type of comp based around Kite. Like, you know how Kite is capable of just diving out of nowhere. Like, he can just jump in, dive out of nowhere, knock people up in the air. So if he jumps out, knocks up a team, then you all dive. Like, that could be your initiation. Then everyone else just comes in. That's a composition based around Kite. Maybe Minotaur could do the same thing. I don't know. He has to build up, so it's going to be kind of obvious when Minotaur is coming. It takes time for him to build up. So, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit easier to stop, but basically, you have to think like that. Think like when you are coming up with compositions and stuff like that, it's all based on the heroes in the game. So this isn't something that you can learn from like League of Legends or Dota or something like that. You have to look at the heroes in Mobile Legends and be like, okay, what are these heroes capable of, and what type of super good comp could we make from this? Like, so think about let's say, who else? VeLL. VeLL, he can put fire around people. I don't think that his ability is that strong. I don't think that is strong enough. But what you could do with VeLL is, if it was a little bit stronger, maybe he had a little bit more area of effect, is you could try to trap the whole team in there, and while he's knocking up the whole team, then you all converge on the team and dive them and stuff like that. That's what you have to do. You have to sit around, think about every single hero, all their abilities, their ultimates and stuff like that, and think of a way where you can use these heroes to basically just make some type of unstoppable comp. Like, what can I do? What do we want to do first? We want to first use this ultimate. Then after we use that ultimate, it will make sense for you to use your ultimate. Then after you use yours, he use his. And like, so basically you dive in. This guy knocks him in the air. That guy comes from the side and just bursts them down. Then Hayabusa comes with his shadows and just destroys the whole group. Like, that's how you create comps. Like, then that comp will have a name specific to Mobile Legends, because Mobile Legends is the only game that can basically have that comp, because it's the only game with those heroes. So this is how you think about different comps. This is how you think about different strategies within these comps. This is basically the level of thinking that pros need to have. It's not as basic as just, let's use the most powerful heroes and let's just use a dive comp because it's easy. No, like, a MOBA is all about thinking. And that's why I always say that Mobile Legends is just young. It's just young in maturity. It's just young in the ability to think and all that stuff. It's a young game, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But the issue with Mobile Legends is that when I say these things, everyone takes offense to it, and it's not something that's offensive. I'm just telling people how it should be. I'm just telling people how it is, how Mobile Legends can advance and be the best and be the most entertaining game to watch, and all of this stuff. It really would be helpful for the entire community. I'm telling people how they can improve. And when I tell the pros that, oh, you can be better if you do this, everybody's like, oh, you're not even mythic. You can't tell a pro what to do. This is all common sense stuff if you've watched any other MOBA. You don't have to, like, to tell somebody. That's like saying, like, that's like somebody in the NBA. I don't know how they would be in the NBA not knowing this, but that's like telling somebody in the NBA you can shoot a 3-point shot, yet all they do is shoot 2-point shots, and they're really good at shooting. They might just not know that there's a 3-point shot. So basically, that's all I'm doing. All I do is tell pros, like, hey, yo, you know that there's a 3-point shot that you can take. There's a different type of shot that you can use for a different type of strategy. That's what my videos are. But the Mobile Legends community takes offense to actual criticism. And then they just insult me and say, oh, I called you bad, but you don't agree with me, so you can't accept criticism. No, you're not actually criticizing. But that's pretty much it, man. This is basically the different types of comps and stuff like that. There are other types of comps. Like I said, there's comps that can be built directly around Mobile Legends heroes. That's what I want to see. I want to see pros get to a level where they create a comp that we never thought of, like maybe a double healer comp. I don't know. Is there a comp where Estes and Rafaela would make sense? Is there any way that you can get that comp to work? Or maybe, yeah, maybe include Hylos in that. You have Hylos, Rafaela, and Estes, and you have some crazy heals right there. Let's say maybe Minotaur. You have even more heals right there. Like just thinking of crazy stuff like that. It sounds insane right now. Like obviously with all those heals and stuff, that sounds pretty insane. Like why would you do something like that? But the second someone uses a strategy that you never expect them to use and they come out and destroy everyone, then everybody's going to be like, oh my god, that's the best strategy. That's what a MOBA is, yo. It's just thinking and coming up with different strategies and coming up with different compositions. So this is an example for all of you who wanted to know. Hopefully this video was helpful to you all. Let me know in the comment section if it is, and if you would like more videos like this. I'd definitely love to know if you would like me to keep making videos like this. Make sure you drop that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, fam. Peace out, yo.
I'm on it. Can't fail for my family, I want it. So they'll never need hope or want